Yo, shout to Jameson. I take Jordan over Chamberlain. What you say to him? All y'all niggas fool like catering. Yeah. I take Buju over Capleton. I love her, so I brought her a rose like Jalen. Grab a 40. Let me tell you my American horror story. Saw a demon, or was it a ghost like Tommy Egan? Shit ridiculous. Trying to put me in a cage like Nicholas. You too promiscuous. I wouldn't touch you. I wouldn't fuck you. Neighbor nosy. Always trying to see what I'm up to. The first time I ever picked up a tool was Mr. Tunku. That's Miniola. You a mini soldier. I let the girls jump you. I'm like your father when it comes to this rap shit. All y'all niggas my kids, pediatric. I'm the definition of a true MC. And if I ask you for a favor, you should do it for free. I'm a visionary. I see us fucking missionary. I never read the Bible, but I still pray. God help with survival. Past perfect through a spiral. Follow my guide you. I can't rhyme without a drug in me. My girl is like the feds. She keep bugging me. I never read the Bible, but I still pray. God help with survival. Past perfect through a spiral. Follow my guide you. I can't rhyme without a drug in me. My girl is like the feds. She keep bugging me. Let's go verse for verse. My girl cooks better than Mr. Touch. What's the verdict? I'm like Tyson and Trevor Burbick. When it comes to boxing, I'm betting on a Charlos. Netflix got everybody wanting to be narcos. I'm 39, kinda freaky. I got a dirty mind, your pussy. You wouldn't have heart on Valentine's. It's art with your rhymes. You gotta be more creative. You rap like he rap and he rap like Jada. My yay so good it was approved by the FDA. My 5 fingers of death wasn't hard enough. Sway spectacular, freaky bitch.
I don't know what happened. Shout out to my man, Flash Corvette, Strong Island's finest. GCP, stand up, you know? But his song, Survival, that's the topic that I'm going to start with, you know? Survival, because there's an agenda, as there always was an agenda on Black America, you know what I mean? Whether you rich, poor, token black, field black, house black, runaway slave black, still an agenda to target you in this society, you know? It may seem like it's for the positive and for the better, and it seems like the motive would make sense, but is there any hidden agendas along with that, you know? I experienced a lot of controversy when I put out what the feds are trying to do out there in Georgia, you know? Anybody that's under gang affiliation that's documented, you know, or had past indictments, they're still going to be targeted for any future crimes, whether they're affiliated with the people or not. If y'all under the same set I was talking about and they're doing crimes, you're going to be under that umbrella. We're going to be investigated and charged and indicted as well under conspiracy acts for any crime that your particular set partook in. Whether you participated or not, it doesn't matter. They're using the fact because you took a voluntary oath to commit future crimes under your gang affiliation. They're looking at it as conspiracy charges. So regardless if you know these people, they could be from a whole different side of the state, side of the city, no personal affiliation, nothing, but because you committed to create an oath, you know, you're going to get charged and targeted. You know, I got some feedback on that, you know, some backlash, all of that stuff. But this is real regardless of the feedback or not. It's all about what Flash Corvette said in the song, Survival. Okay? We need to wake up and start strategizing the way we move and start taking accountability for our actions. And now up in New York, the mayor is asking for federal funding by the government, particularly the feds, to try to charge the youth or the teens creating drill music. Okay, I know y'all probably heard the story or rumors about this going on, and it may seem like it's in good intent and good merit, but is there a twist? And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm gonna show you a clip. Okay, The mayor wants to get federal funding to try to investigate, lock up people who are creating drill music. He's trying to target that and get drill music off the scene because of the murders. Now that makes sense, but here's the clip.
Gang rivalries, easy to get guns, live streaming, and drill rap are turning out to be a potentially deadly mix. Now the Brooklyn DA is speaking out about the accelerating pace of the violence as a community leader strives to keep the peace.
We've had a number of shootings in Brooklyn recently that are directly related to drill rap videos.
In a one-on-one interview, Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez tells me he's a fan of hip-hop music, but not drill rap. He says that's a vehicle to fast-track gang beef. In less than a week, 2 young drill rappers were murdered in Brooklyn. On February 2nd, 22-year-old Tajay Dobson, who rapped under the name T. Wu, was shot and killed outside his Canarsie home. On Sunday, February 6th, 18-year-old Jaquan McKinley, known as C. High Watts, was shot and killed coming out of a recording studio.
These drill rap videos are causing young people to lose their lives. It's not that the music is the cause of the violence, but it's fueling the desire to retaliate.
Gonzalez says the tensions intensify in real time when they live stream their diss raps from sensitive locations, often showing off the guns and videos.
They're shooting live, so Facebook Live, Instagram Live, from a location. They're rapping and they're taunting their rivals in their rivals' gang territory. So they're like, we're here, come get us. If we see you, we're going to shoot you.
Canarsie community activists like Ramel Young is doing his part to stop the violence with events like the annual Pop Smoke Day, and also by setting a positive example.
I can say, yeah, I did Pop Smoke Day. I did this for the kids. I gave out t-shirts. That's the new cool. That's the new cool. The tough guys respect that.
Gonzalez says the videos also serve as gang recruiting tools to bring in boys as young as 11 years old. He says law enforcement is only part of the solution equation and that there needs to be many more programs and activities so children and teens won't have to be on the streets. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
Now, I agree with...
Did I tell you?
I definitely agree with the motive on everything that they said. It makes perfect sense, because our youth need to be held more accountable in the way we conduct ourselves. That's a whole fact. There's nothing wrong with, your freedom of expression, but you have to have accountability and freedom of expression. If it's a tool to try to recruit, like they said, or try to target and get back at other rivals or ops or whatever you may call them, there got to be accountability there because they're imitating a lot of this Chicago drill music, and that wave, like I said in previous episodes, came all over the country, even in Europe now, and there need to be accountability. So I am agreeing with the fact that they need to start making people be more accountable with their freedom of expression through their music, because music is a powerful, powerful tool of influence. Our fads, our clothing, our fashion, all that stuff is influenced through music, particularly hip hop. Now, some things on this thing I don't agree with. I do agree with a certain particular agenda, but I think there's another hidden agenda besides that, okay? Because if you look at music in general, hip hop in general, we had gangster rap back in the early 80s. They was doing crimes, shootings ever since back then, from different gangs affiliated with each other and talking about it through their music, taunting each other through the music, battle rap, all of that stuff. And people was getting killed since back then, but nothing was really being done about that. In some respect, they had censorship when NWA came out, with the gangster rap. But the difference between the drill music here compared to back in the 80s and early 90s when NWA and gangster rap was coming out, or even Luke, was you had labels behind and sponsoring these rap groups, these rappers, They were sponsoring and promoting the gang life by the labels. And with the money that was collected and generating, they was able to pass laws for censorship and allowed a lot of music to still play on mainstream videos, you know, whether it's Video Music Box, MTV Raps, Hot Tracks, whatever it was, you know, they had one to the point where there was a lot of play of that type of music, knowing that people was getting murdered and killed back then, knowing that these rappers were gang affiliated, you know. What's the difference from now and then? That's what I'm focusing on. It seemed like it's a hidden agenda where maybe labels aren't getting the sponsorship or the money they was getting by these rappers because the majority of these drill rappers are independent. They're not really trying to be tied to a label. They rather make that money, and these youth have smartened up as far as the way they created, how they made their money. You know, they seen how the labels was pretty much being extorting their rappers. They seen how these rappers were getting left broke, and there was and a lot of these rappers were getting murdered for their publishing and things of that nature. So I believe the youth nowadays, looking at people from my generation, learned to try to have their own masters, have their own labels, and because of YouTube and other social media sites, Twitter and everything like that, they was able to gain independence where they don't have to pay the middleman to market their music or promote their stuff. They can do it themselves with the help of YouTube and social media. And that, in a nutshell, I believe personally, made the labels in particular very envious and jealous, because now they have to find other ways to make the money, because the money they used to making, they don't have that mistress money anymore like they was. They don't have that extra yacht money anymore. A lot of people, artists, aren't making that much money in labels like they were back in the days. You know, there wasn't no budgets like that. The young people were being aware of these 360 deals. And they're not willing to succumb to those types of extortion with their music that they created. So the young kids these days smartened up, because like I said, back then the labels shook hands with the government in a sense to pretty much win-win situation. We all make money, and we all gonna make money off of that. But since these kids became independent now all of a sudden it's an attack on drill music. Now don't get me wrong, the intention seems right, but the motive seems a little shaky and off. You know, it seems like, yes, okay, these kids are very out of line, very disrespectful. They up there making fun of the dead, talking about this person's a pack, that person's a pack, taunting them in their death, you know, making fun of their death, pissing on their graves, doing all kinds of stuff. And these kids thinking it's cool. And these kids are doing these senseless murders, imitating other sets that had nothing to, you know, do with them personally. They beefing online for no real reason. You know, they want to follow the influence of these other drill rappers. But my thing is, if they're going to charge drill rappers to be accountable, they need to charge the labels to be accountable. They need to charge big record execs like Jay-Z, you know, all these other people. Don't he own Tidal? Don't he own Rock Nation? You know? How come they're not being charged for crimes like, or even being indicted for past crimes? They was promoting crack and bragging about crack all the time. How many people were overdosed off of crack? You know? You see so many people talking about shootings and killings since back then, which we know people were actually dead off of. Look at the Death Row versus Bad Boys scenario. I don't see nobody getting locked up off of that. There's a whole lot of deaths that went down off of that. I don't see people getting locked up off of the Nipsey Hussle murder, you know? All that stuff is kind of similar to what's going on here. There's really no difference. if you're gonna target one genre, you need to target all genres and every form of music, not just hip hop, because it seemed like it's even deeper charge or target, like talking to Black America, period. We got the war of crack, war on drugs, war on poverty, war on the gang situation, war on this and the third, that it's almost like process of elimination. Try to keep us down every way possible. Are they talking in these white rappers? Are they talking in these pop culture? You know, with the drugs and doing certain things, they don't even think about them. You know? They want to target out gangs. What about the white gangs? My boy Flash Corvette, he made a big issue in that. He's like, I don't see all these white biker gangs like the Mongols and the Pagans and the Hells Angels. They do just as much, even more, than these Bloods and Crips out here, or these BDs and GDs. But you don't hear about it. They don't even televise it. They don't put it on social media. Why? Because a lot of them are friends with the police, friends with the government, or because of the privilege of their skin. You know? They're allowed to open up chapters and everywhere. You know? But because of the privilege of their skin, they don't get targeted for anything. You hear about skinheads, they don't get targeted on anything like that. You know? It's almost like it's an agenda war on Black America, period. Period. They make us example on every little thing. Even on every little thing, we have to be the example for an agenda to be set across. You know? They go to Africa to try to use them as guinea pigs for whatever medicines that come out. They don't do that in Europe. You know? My boy Flash Corvette made that point, you know? There's a lot of things that he need to start speaking on his platform. I'm going to bring him in and let him speak, you know? But it's like, if you're going to target one group, target all groups. No, it's not right, and a lot of people, and I'm glad they are putting their foot down, don't get me wrong, but target all groups, you know, because it makes it similar to the situation in Atlanta where we know New York is known for racial profiling, period. The neighborhoods are so segregated, period. Long Island and Queens and Brooklyn, they're segregated, all right? The school systems and districts are segregated. Everything is politics to get careers and jobs, okay? The job market isn't there like it was before, you know? And it's racially unequal, it's racially unequal and injustice just to get promotions in your jobs, in your career, you know? So the police department, they don't patrol in white neighborhoods like they patrol in black neighborhoods, you know? All they do is give a speeding ticket. You can have a white guy with a pound of daggone fentanyl in his car and drive through Long Island and Garden City, and he will never get pulled over as long as he's doing a speed limit. Let a black kid who's doing a speed limit go through Long Island and Garden City with nothing on him, with a suit and tie, he'll get pulled over. You know? So it's racially targeted like that. If you go to Howard Beach, all right, they're known for setting up black youth over there because they don't want them in their areas. Okay? Bensonhurst. Okay? Manhattan Beach. Different parts of the Bronx. All right? So let's not be denied they are very racially motivated in the way the police operate over there. Okay? So are they going to target us just because we may look apart and charge us with any kind of future indictment or conspiracy because we may look apart or we're from a certain neighborhood over there? You better believe they're going to try to do that. Try to make us affiliated to some drill rap and happen to be in an area and we look alike and we dress for the same area. They want to put us all, blanket us and put us all in a bunch. Okay? And because we're from certain neighborhoods, we can't afford lawyers, we got to force a cop to police that we didn't even, on crimes that we didn't even commit to. all for an agenda to make these politicians look good because they just ran and became office, but they're not holding the record execs accountable for the drill music that's being out. They're not holding YouTube accountable for the killings through these drill artists on their platform. But if I talk about certain things, I'm going to get censored and I could get under a violation of community guidelines and get kicked out of here. But you have people such as Lil Durk, okay, or an NBA YoungBoy, they highly promote on YouTube and other social media platforms who are known to be drill artists, who set the standard and the trend for these kids in New York as well as Atlanta and everywhere else to follow their way and commit these crimes because of the influence they have that's being promoted. So if you're going to target the little people, you might as well target them. Target Live Nation and Rock Nation. Target Jay-Z. Get them in locked up for all the crimes they promote. And they're the ones who getting these artists, such as Black Youngster and all these different ones, out here promoting this music. Isn't Jay-Z trying to fight to keep music from being played or used against them in the court of law? Okay, so that right there kind of fuels and promotes these real rappers to commit these crimes when it comes to self-snitching. Jay-Z is trying to defend them where you can't use their music in a court of law to get indicted for charges that they're being investigated on. Okay? That's like the great Satan himself on that level. But they're not being held accountable because of their prestige and their position when it comes to these drill artists that they sign that's promoting these gangs and promoting these killings that the victims are suffering from. Okay? Like, we wouldn't know what Tuka is, okay, in New York. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't know what a pack is in New York or Florida. That's a Chicago thing. That was a personal situation, you know what I'm saying, that they promoted on social media, which social media need to be held accountable for. YouTube need to be held accountable for. People like academics who promoted it, he need to get sued for things like that. Because he promoted it and he got rich off of the lives and deaths that he may be not really totally responsible for, but he needed to try to pay homage to the victims with the profit he got, just like YouTube and everybody else need to get sued. Okay? Because it's not right and it's a target on our youth. And our freedom of expression, try to keep us down, try to keep us enslaved for their agenda, just to line these mayors and these people pockets up so they can get promoted for other positions they're looking forward to in the future. You know, like governor, senator, president one day, because they're making a profit off of our expense. They're the ones who are lobbying with these record label execs to fuel the homicide rate, to make it cool to gangbang, to make it cool and fashionable to smoke on somebody's pack. We wouldn't know any of this if it wasn't for these social media sites and record labels. So they need to be held accountable first and start locking them up first or suing them like how y'all did Tasha K. They need to be sued just as well and give the money and the proceeds to the victims of these families because they're creating genocide. They're promoting genocide to our youth. And they're giving us alternatives. All because, in my personal opinion, they're not getting the finances that these kids are getting rich off of independently. So now they want to target them. Two wrongs don't make a right. If you want to be right all across the board. Not on one spectrum. That's manipulation. That's deceptive. Do it all across the board on every genre. There's more white kids that sponsor drill music more than black kids. They out here on YouTube and doing these little vines and doing these little clips just as much as black kids, but they're not being exposed like black kids. That's a target. It's psychological warfare. Another CIA tactic. So you're gonna come right all across the board. Don't cherry pick certain crimes for your agenda and overlook everybody else who's responsible for fueling these crimes. That ain't right. That ain't right. We know people like certain people's histories and backgrounds that are mainstream and big time who got rich off by either trapping that the labels promoted. You want to know what trap music is if it wasn't for the labels. Okay? Y'all was up there getting rich off of the drug industry, the drug culture. That made it cool to trap or die. Y'all was promoting all this senseless acts of crime. How many people overdose? How many people are serving so many crazy numbers in prison time because they were brainwashed thinking that's the only way to make money, the only way to survive is to trap because y'all was given the jobs. It was an agenda to lock us up and to enslave us. That's ways of bringing slavery back into America. Put the bait in front of you, make it look nice, and hook you into it. And now you locked up or you dead now. You know what I mean? Get at the ones who's giving out the bait. You know? Those who's promoting the bait for job security. Get those people. They're more of a threat than the victims. That's all I'm saying. So, if you're going to be fair all across the board. This is all survival. Flash Corvette had that song, Survival. You know what I'm saying? And people, parents, if you got kids, expose them to the agenda that the government is out here trying to do to our youth. Black and white. Especially the blacks. Promote your kids that you're going to make music. Be positive. You don't got to fall for what seems to be cool and what seems to be trendy. You know? Everything that look good ain't good. You know? Be original. Be unique in your own music. Okay? You don't got to follow what these people doing to make money. It's not the way. You know? Try to create other ways to get attention and money. But be wise in what you do. Set apart. Don't you're not dressed like these people. Okay? Because they're going to do a lot of racial profiling in your neighborhood and try to lock all y'all up in a bunch of conspiracy charges, thinking y'all all did a crime because you happen to go to school or live amongst somebody in your neighborhood who happened to do drill music or was affiliated in a gang who in that gang happened to murder somebody. Okay? Casanova is locked up for something he didn't commit. Okay? He fighting for his life because of his reputation. And a label promoted him and gassed him up to live their life. But when he gets caught up with something he didn't do, they wasn't there for him. But they got his money on. You know? They try to set you up and line you up at the same time. Look at the trap that these people do in these labels. They'll give you a bag or give you a little record deal and give you a little cash advance. It could be 5 G's to like 100 G's or whatever. Okay? The minute you sign your life on the dotted line, you sold out. You sold your rights, you sold your soul to them. So now they'll promote your music, get you buzzing, then give you an enemy or an op, have him perform in the club next to where you at, like a King Von situation, and allow that thing to go down just for clickbait. Hoping that one of y'all dies so it can be good profit, big profit for them. Okay? Because when y'all die, y'all don't got no life insurance policies. All that stuff is coming to them. All that profit you made off of your death, they promote, they making money off your death. It's going in their pockets. You was just a sacrifice. You was just a pawn. You was a tool and you ain't getting nothing out of it. Countless rappers all over getting killed. Clicked off. We never heard of these people yet. They got one hit wonder songs and they clicked off like that. All we see is just what they promoted in social media. But who's behind these people they promote? You better off. A rap is the most dangerous thing to be out here right now. A gang member, all of that stuff is all on the same umbrella. Better lay low. Do other forms of music. Don't gotta follow the trend. Be original. Stand out. Do something different. You know? Just get under the radar. You know, because you're just another victim. That's all. You're just another number. They don't care about anything about you. They're trying to line their pockets up off of their personal agendas. Like you see with the war crime, war on drugs, war on pop, all this stuff. So just be wise and alert to see the game for what it is. Don't dress the part. Try to stand and be up and create your own clothes. Have your own style. Be original. Be a leader. Stand out. Anybody who's affiliated in certain things, erase your social media pages. Find some new friends, ain't about that life. Smart is the new gangster. You know? Parents, try to promote your kids and their talents. See, other than sports and that type of music, try to promote your because that's your future. You want your kids to take care of you one day. You want your kids to outlive you. You know? You see the traps, expose them to the traps and show them how to move around these traps. That way they could survive. Let them see the game for what it is. Because it's not fair how the agenda is set up. And since we know it's not fair, it's the process of elimination. It's trying to eliminate us as a race. Every way possible. Get rid of the black man every way possible to have our women. If you see that, we got to learn how to try to think outside the box. Unorthodox. Don't be predictable. You know? Erase them tattoos off your faces. You setting yourself up to be profiled and charged with a crime that you didn't commit. Easy.